And Mary drew nigh unto him, and fell down, adored his feet, and kissed his hands, and said, Yea, my Lord, reveal unto us what is the use of the ways of the midst. For we have heard from thee that they are set over great chastisements. How then, my Lord, will we remove or escape from them? Or in what way do they seize the souls? Or how long a time do they spend in their chastisements? Have mercy upon us, O Lord, our Savior, in order that the receivers of the judgments of the ways of the midst may not carry off our souls and judge us in their evil judgments, so that we ourselves may inherit the light of the Father, and do not be wretched and destitute of thee. When then Mary had said this, weeping, Jesus answered in great compassion, and said unto them, Truly, my brethren and beloved, who have abandoned father and mother for my name's sake, unto you will I give all mysteries and all gnosis. I will give you the mystery of the 12 eons of the rulers, and their seals and their ciphers, and the manner of invocation for reaching their regions. I will give you, moreover, the mystery of the 13th eon, and the manner of invocation for reaching their regions, and I will give you their ciphers and their seals, and I will give you the mystery of the baptism of the midst, and the manner of invocation for reaching their regions, and I will announce unto you their ciphers and their seals, and I will give you the baptism of those of the right, our region, and the ciphers and its seals, and the manner of invocation for reaching thither, and I will give you the great mystery of the treasury of the light, and the manner of invocation for reaching thither, and I will give you all the mysteries of all the gnosis, in order that ye may be called children of the fullness, perfected in all gnosis and all the mysteries. Blessed are ye beyond all men on earth, for the children of the light are come in your time. Jesus continued in discourse, and said, It came to pass then thereafter, that the Father of my Father, that is you, came and took other 360 rulers from the rulers of Adamas, who had not had faith in the mystery of the light, and bound them into these aerial regions in which we are now. Below the sphere he established another 5 great rulers over them, that is, these who are on the way of the midst. The first ruler of the way of the midst is called Paraplex, a ruler with a woman's shape, whose hair reaches down to her feet, under whose authority stand 25 archdemons, which rule over a multitude of demons. And it is those demons which enter into men and seduce them, raging and cursing and slandering, and it is they which carry off hence and in ravishment the souls, and dispatch them through their dark smoke and their evil chastisements. Mary said, I shall behave badly to question thee, but be not wroth with me if I question on all things. Jesus said, Question what thou wilt. Mary said, My Lord, reveal unto us what manner they carry off the souls in ravishment, that also my brethren may understand it. Jesus, that is Abermenthal, said, Since indeed the Father of my Father, that is you, is the foreminder of all the rulers, gods, and powers, who have arisen out of the matter of the light of the treasury, and Zarathustra, Melchizedek is the envoy to all the lights which are purified in the rulers, leading them into the treasury of the light. These two alone are the great lights, and their ordinance is that they down go to the rulers and purify them. And the Zarathustra, Melchizedek, carrieth away the purification of the lights which they have purified in the rulers, and leadeth them into the treasury of the light. When the cipher and the time of their ordinance come, that they go down to the rulers and oppress and constrain them, carrying away the purification from the rulers. But straightway when they shall cease from the oppression and constraining, and return to the regions of the treasury of light, it cometh to pass that if they reach the regions of the midst, Zarathustra, Melchizedek carrieth off the lights, and leadeth them into the gate of those of the midst, and leadeth them into the treasury of the light, and that you withdraweth himself into the regions of those of the right, up to the time of the cipher for them to come forth again. The rulers mutiny through the wrath of their wickedness, going straight away up to the lights, because you and Melchizedek are not with them at that time, and they carry off the souls which they may be able to snatch away in ravishment, and destroy them through the dark smoke and their evil fire. And that time then this authority with the name Paraplex along with the demons which stand under her, carrieth off the souls of the violently passionate, of cursers, and of slanderers, and dispatch them through the dark smoke, and destroyeth them through the evil fire, so that they begin to be undone and dissolved. 133 years and 9 months do they spend in the chastisements of her region, while she tormenteth them in the fire of her wickedness. It cometh to pass then, after all these times, when the sphere turneth itself to the little Sabbath, Zeus cometh to the first of the eons of the spheres, which is called in the world the ram of Boabastis, that is the Aphrodite. And when the Boabastis cometh to the seventh house of the sphere, that is to the balance, then the veils which are between those of the right and those of the left draw themselves aside, and there looketh from the height out of those of the right the great Sabbath, the good, and the whole world, and the total sphere become alarmed before he hath looked forth, and he looketh down of the regions of Paraplex, so that her regions may be dissolved and perish, and all the souls which are in her chastisements are carried and cast back up into the sphere anew, because they are ruined in the chastisements of Paraplex. He continued in discourse and said, the second order is called Arioth, the Ethiopian, a female ruler who is entirely black, under whom stand 14 other archdemons which rule over a multitude of other demons, and it is those demons which stand under Arioth, the Ethiopian, that enter into strife seekers until they stir up wars, and murderers arise, and they harden their heart and seduce it to wrath, in order that murderers may arise. And the souls which these authorities will carry off in ravagement pass 113 years in her region, while she tormenteth them through her dark smoke and her wicked fire, so that they come nigh unto destruction. And thereafter, when the sphere turneth itself, and the little Sabbath, the good, who is called in the world Zeus, cometh, and he cometh to the fourth eon of the sphere, that is the crab, and the Boabastis, who is called in the world Aphrodite, cometh into the 10th eon of the sphere, which is called the goat. At that time the veils which are between those of the left and those of the right draw themselves aside, and you looketh forth to the right. The whole world becometh alarmed, and it is agitated, together with all the eons of the sphere. And he looketh on the dwellings of Arioth the Ethiopian, so that her regions are dissolved and ruined, and all the souls which are in her chastisements are carried off and cast back into the sphere anew, because they are ruined through her dark smoke and her wicked fire. He continued further in his discourse, and said, the third order is called triple-faced Hecate, and there are under her authority 27 archdemons, and it is they which enter into men and seduce them to perjuries and lies, and to covert that which doth not belong to them. The souls then which Hecate beareth hence in ravagement, she handeth over to her demons which stand under her, in order that they may torment them through the dark smoke of her wicked fire, they being exceedingly afflicted through the demons. And they spend 105 years and 6 months being chastised in her wicked chastisements, and they begin to be dissolved and destroyed. And thereafter, when the sphere turneth itself, and the little Sabbath, the good, he of the midst, who is called in the world Zeus, cometh, and he cometh to the 8th eon of the sphere, which is called the Scorpion, and the Boabastis, whom they call Aphrodite, cometh, and she cometh to the 2nd eon of the sphere, which is called the Bull. Then the veils which are between those of the right and those of the left draw themselves aside, and Zarathustra Melchizedek looketh out of the height, and the world and the mountains are agitated, and the eons become alarmed. And he looketh on all the regions of Hecate, so that her regions are dissolved and destroyed, and all the souls which are in her chastisements are carried off and cast back anew into the sphere, because they are dissolved in the fire of her chastisements. He continued and said, the fourth order is called Parahedron, Typhoon, who is mighty ruler, under whose authority are 32 demons, and it is they which enter into men and seduce them to lusting, fornicating, adultery, and to the continual practice of intercourse. The souls then which these rulers will carry off in ravishment pass 138 years in his region, while his demons torment them through the dark smoke and his wicked fire, so that they begin to be ruined and destroyed. It cometh to pass then, when the sphere turneth itself, and the little Sabbath the good, he of the midst, who is called Zeus, cometh, and when he cometh to the ninth aeon of the sphere, which is called the Archer, and when Bobastis, who is called in the world Aphrodite, cometh, and she cometh to the third of the aeon of the sphere, which is called the Twins, then the veils which are between those of the left and those of the right draw themselves aside, and there looketh forth Zarazas, whom the rulers call with the name of a mighty ruler of their regions, Mascali, and he looketh on the dwellings of Parahedron, Typhoon, so that his regions are dissolved and destroyed, and all the souls which are in his chastisements are carried and cast back anew into the sphere, because they are reduced through his dark smoke and his wicked fire. Again he continued in discourse and said unto his disciples, the fifth order, whose ruler is called Yachtanabas, is a mighty ruler, under whom standeth a multitude of other demons. It is they which enter into men and bring it about that they have respect of persons, treating the just with injustice, and the favor the cause of sinners, taking gifts for a just judgment and perverting it, forgetting the poor and needy, they, the demons, increasing the forgetfulness in their souls, and the care for that which bringeth no benefit, in order that they may not think of their life, so that when they come out of the body, they are carried in ravishment. The souls then, which these rulers will carry off in ravishment, are in the chastisements 150 years and 8 months, and he destroyeth them through his dark smoke and his wicked fire, while they are exceedingly afflicted through the flames of this fire. And when the sphere turneth itself, and the little Sabbath the good, who is called in the world Zeus, cometh, and he cometh to the 11th aeon of the sphere, which is called the Waterman, and with Boabastis cometh to the 5th aeon of the sphere, which is called the Lion. Then the veils which are between those of the left and those of the right draw themselves aside, and there looketh out of the height that great Aeol, the good, he of the midst of the regions of Yathanabas, so that his regions are dissolved and destroyed, and all the souls which are in his chastisements are carried off back anew into the sphere, because they are ruined in his chastisements. These then are the doings of the ways of which the midst concerning which ye have questions me.